The fluorescent lights hummed weakly overhead, casting a sickly glow over the stainless steel tables of the Willowbrook County morgue. It was 2:17 a.m., and Daniel Mercer, newly hired, still uncomfortable in his scrubs, was regretting his first overnight shift. The air smelled of antiseptic and something older, something damp. He adjusted his gloves and approached the latest arrival, John Doe number 42, an unidentified man found in the river. The body was pale, lips tinged blue, with a Y incision stitched neatly across the chest from that afternoon's autopsy. Daniel's job was simple: prep the body for transfer at dawn. But as he reached for the tag on the toe, something moved. A twitch. A shudder. Daniel froze. The corpse's right hand, asterisk, had it just flexed, asterisk. "Get it together," he muttered, rubbing his eyes. Sleep deprivation. That's all it was. Then, with a slow, gelatinous creak, the corpse's torso lifted off the table. Daniel stumbled back, knocking over a tray of instruments. The body sat upright, head lolling to the side, milky eyes half open. A wet, guttural sound escaped its throat, not a breath, but a whisper. "Not me." The voice wasn't coming from the corpse. It came from behind him. Daniel turned. The heavy door to the cold storage room, asterisk locked an hour ago, asterisk, was slightly ajar. A frost-kissed darkness seeped out, and with it, another whisper. "He's still alive." The word slithered into the room, wrapping around Daniel's spine. Then, the corpse on the table pointed toward the freezer. Inside, a shape shifted. A hand, pressed against the glass of a body drawer, left a fogged print. John Doe number 42 wasn't the one whispering. Something else was. Twist asterisk. The next morning, police found a missing hiker, asterisk, alive but barely, asterisk, wedged into a forgotten corner of the morgue freezer. His hypothermic mumbling matched the whispers Daniel heard. But the real horror. The autopsy report for John Doe number 42 came back with an addendum. Asterisk, ligature marks on wrists. Cause of death, suffocation. Body showed no signs of post-mortem movement. Asterisk. So who, or what, sat up on that table? The mirror had always been there. Tucked in the corner of the Willowbrook morgue's preparation room, its edges were fogged with age, the silver backing peeling like dead skin. Most of the staff ignored it, just another piece of forgotten furniture in a place filled with the dead. But on this night, as graveyard shift attendant Lisa Chen adjusted her gloves under the flickering fluorescent lights, something in the mirror's murky surface shifted. A shadow. A shape. Lisa paused, her breath frosting in the chilled air. She turned, nothing behind her but empty steel tables and the hum of the refrigeration units. Then she saw her. In the mirror's depths, a woman stood directly behind Lisa's reflection. Pale as wax, her waterlogged hair clinging to a face blued with death. Her lips parted, as if to speak. Lisa spun around. The room was empty. A cold sweat prickled her neck. She forced a laugh. Asterisk, too much coffee. Too little sleep, asterisk. But when she glanced back at the mirror, the woman was closer now, her hollow eyes locked onto Lisa's. And she was smiling. The revelation, asterisk. At dawn, the day crew rolled in a new Jane Doe, pulled from the river, just like the others. Lisa's blood turned to ice when she saw the face on the gurney. The woman from the mirror. Water still dripped from the corpse's hair as Lisa numbly checked the tag. Estimated time of death, 3 days ago. But that was impossible. Because Lisa had seen her alive in the mirror just hours before. The twist asterisk. The morgue's old custodian, hearing Lisa's story, paled. That mirror came from the funeral home next door, he muttered. They used to prop it up so the dead could say goodbye. He tapped the glass. A dozen faint handprints, asterisk none of them Lisa's asterisk, smudged the surface from the other side. Lisa never looked in the mirror again. But sometimes, when the lights flicker, the dead still do. The scalpel glinted under the harsh morgue lights as Dr. Elias Voss made the first incision. The body on his table, tag number 309, a supposed suicide by hanging, should have been routine. But the moment the blade touched skin, the corpse's fingers twitched. Elias paused. A trick of the light, surely. Yet as he peeled back the chest cavity, something wet shifted beneath his hands. The liver, freshly removed, seemed to pulse in the stainless steel tray. A drop of dark blood welled from the severed trachea and dripped onto the floor. Plink. Then the sheet over the body's legs rustled, as if something beneath it had kicked. Elias stumbled back, knocking over a tray of instruments. The scalpel clattered to the floor, then skittered sideways on its own, stopping at the corpse's dangling hand. The overhead lights flickered. When they steadied, the dead man's eyes, asterisk which Elias had closed himself asterisk, were wide open, pupils dilated in frozen terror. A whisper slithered through the room, too guttural to be the AC unit. Not suicide. The heart in the scale thumped once. The revelation asterisk. Police found the victim's phone hidden in his shoe, smashed, but still retrievable. The last video showed a shadowy figure looping the noose around his neck as he struggled. Tell them, the corpse's lips seemed to mouth when Elias looked back. The scalpel, now embedded in the wall across the room, vibrated like a struck tuning fork. The twist asterisk. The official report still read suicide. But every night at 3:07 a.m., the morgue's tools rearranged themselves into a single word on the autopsy table. LR. The clipboard clattered to the floor as Mark counted the bodies for the third time. Number 17 is gone again, he muttered, scanning the frost-lined drawers of the cold storage unit. The digital log showed no transfers. No autopsies. Yet another corpse had vanished overnight. A wet, dragging sound echoed from the hallway. SHLLLLLLCK. Like something heavy being pulled across concrete. Mark's flashlight beam cut through the morgue's gloom as he followed the noise past the embalming room, down a narrow stairwell he'd never noticed before. The air grew thicker, the scent of copper and spoiled meat clinging to his nostrils. At the bottom, a rusted door stood slightly ajar. Inside, the walls pulsed with strands of glistening tissue, vein-like tendrils that slithered between stacked body bags. At the room's center, what remained of subject 17 lay splayed open, ribs cracked outward like a grotesque flower. Something black and segmented burrowed into the cavity, its needle-filled maw rising as Mark's light hit it. The creature's dozens of eyes reflected back at him. Then the door slammed shut behind him. The revelation asterisk. When police found Mark's flashlight 3 days later, the lens was shattered from the inside. The coroner noted curious marks on the doorframe, not scratches, but bite marks, as if something had gnawed through solid steel. The missing bodies were never recovered. But sometimes, night shift workers hear a new sound beneath the dragging. The wet, clicking purr of something feeding. The twist asterisk. The morgue's original blueprints show no basement. Yet every full moon, another drawer empties. The automatic locks clicked shut at exactly 11:57 p.m. Carlos Rivera barely noticed at first, too focused on finishing his last night shift at Blackwood Mortuary. The paperwork, the inventory, the final rounds, just 3 more minutes until freedom. Then the first thump came. A dull impact against vinyl. Body bag number 12 twitched on its gurney. Carlos froze, scalpel in hand, as the zipper began sliding down on its own. Gray fingers curled around the edge, peeling the plastic back to reveal milky, unseeing eyes that somehow locked onto his. Across the room, another bag rustled. Then another. The emergency exit lights flickered red as zippers yawned open down the entire row. Limbs unfolded with wet pops of rigor mortis releasing. One corpse sat up, then another, their movements synchronized like some grotesque ballet. The door release button sparked when Carlos smashed his palm against it. Behind him, bare feet slapped against cold tile. The digital clock above the exit ticked over. 12:00 a.m. The morgue's original foundation stones, hidden beneath the floor tiles, began bleeding dark fluid. Carlos's final scream was cut short by dozens of cold hands. The revelation asterisk. When the day crew arrived, they found Carlos's ID badge still clipped to his abandoned lab coat. The security footage showed only static after 11:59 p.m. Strangest of all. Every body had been returned to its bag. Zipped up neatly from the inside. The twist asterisk. City records revealed why the morgue was built so far from town. The 1892 land survey noted, asterisk, site unsuitable, disturbed graves refuse to stay filled. Asterisk. Now every new hire receives one unspoken rule. Never work past midnight on your last day.